Sam Robson, in his first LV County Championship match of the summer, hit his best ever championship score as Middlesex fought back strongly after Graham Napier had threatened to put Essex on top on the opening day in Chelmsford. Neil Dexter won the toss and batted first and watched his new opening pair of Robson and Chris Rogers, who'd replaced Andrew Strauss and the out-of-form Scott Newman at the top of the order, go out to set a good platform. Rogers, fresh from a fine 100 for Middlesex in their defeat against Glamorgan last week, looked in brilliant touch early on with some crunching boundaries as he had the better of an opening stand of 52 made in the first hour. Indeed, it came as something of a surprise that Rogers was out when he was, dragging a delivery from Ravi Bopara back onto his stumps after making 34. With those changes at the top of the order, Dan Housego was recalled to the visiting lineup, and although the rate of scoring slowed down a tad, he and Robson were able to set their side up well as they appeared to be heading towards lunch in a reasonable position. But all of that was altered in the last half hour of the morning as Napier claimed 3 wickets. Housego was hit on the foot and given out LBW for 15. Dawid Malan followed 2 balls later, deciding too late to leave a ball and edging through to James Foster. And Dexter sliced a drive off Napier to point to also go for a duck 4 overs later. Napier had taken 3 wickets without conceding a run in the space of 13 balls. That meant that Middlesex went to lunch on 92 for 4 and in a spot of trouble. But 20 minutes into the afternoon, Robson completed only his 7th score of 50 or more in his career. That was his 6th 4 from 111 balls. The 21-year-old Australian-born batsman has had limited opportunities for his county, but he was certainly making the most of this one, his first of the season. And he at least found some solid support in the form of Jamie Dalrymple. He hit Reece Topley for a couple of boundaries, the 17-year-old back in the team after spending the early part of the morning sitting his business studies exam at school, and he proved to be expensive with the ball as he was unable to get it to swing quite as much as he'd done during the very impressive start he made to his career in April. Dalrymple was looking good and hit Tim Phillips back over his head for a 6 as this pair closed in on a 100 partnership. Dalrymple reached his 50, his first since rejoining Middlesex from Glamorgan. He struck 7 4s and that 6 in a 78-ball stay. However, that stay didn't last much longer. On 52, he pushed at a ball from Napier and fed the delivery straight to Matt Walker to end a partnership of 103. Robson was still there though, and on the stroke of tea, he drove Bopara for the single he needed to bring up his 3rd first-class century and his 2nd in the championship, the other being against this same opposition 2 seasons ago. This one had taken him 192 balls to reach. His innings had been a superb one. He's had to wait for his chance this summer with his only other first-class game coming against the Sri Lankans, but now he was really making it count. Middlesex had saved their best partnership until last. John Simpson, a 22-year-old wicket-keeper, has now made that position his own at Lords with some impressive showings with the bat, and this was to be a typical knock from him this summer. He and Robson were making the final session of the day a very good one for their side. Neither batsman was troubled at all against the old ball, suffering hardly a problem against this Essex attack, for whom only Napier had managed to have much success. Simpson was able to complete his 2nd successive 50, which had Robson sprinting from the non-striker's end. Simpson had taken 94 balls to get there. Middlesex had started this season with 1 win following another, but have found going a little tougher in their last couple of matches. Glamorgan bowled them out cheaply at Lords last week, but these 2 batsmen were to make sure that there was no repeat of that costly batting performance as they carried the total beyond 300 and eventually took their partnership to 122. Simpson will have been crossed to get out with just 2 overs of the day remaining. He'd made 65 when he was surprisingly beaten by Napier and bowled as the man who hit 16 sixes in an innings last week now took 5 for 43 with the ball. But the real star of the day was Robson, who batted all the way through it and finished on 136 not out in an innings thus far lasting 6 hours and 8 minutes. Middlesex will hope that he can keep going when they resume on day 2 on 316 for 6.